Don't know.
No, there ain't no dog.
There ain't no dog. There ain't no God. I got you. Yes,
Okay.
there is. Yes, there is.
Oh, I know. We've had a couple.
You said there is no dog.
No, he
No,
said, what is the
what does
dyslexic? Go ahead.
Yeah, what does a dyslexic? No, what does a dyslexic atheist say?
There is no dog because he's dyslexic and he spells everything backwards. He sees everything backwards. So instead of dog, he meant God.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when you have to explain jokes. But anyways.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay, Carrie, does somebody want to...
I don't know. I was just going to say there must be a dog because I heard the president called one of his ex-people, a dog, a crying dog.
Carrie, are you ready for questions?
Yeah, but I am.
This is Trey. I'm on.
Okay. Okay. Does somebody want to ask Carrie a question so we can get this thing going? No questions tonight?
Of course. Okay, let me start then. An order of dismissal for lack of jurisdiction that comes from the court only and not from the IRS. Is that correct?
Okay. It comes from the court, but it comes from the court because the IRS puts in a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction.
Thank you. That's what I kept saying. I know it had to go somewhere. It just wasn't what mine said was, upon due consideration of petitioner's letter filed May 24, appearing that petitioners do not intend to pay the court $60 filing fee for this case, it is ordered that this case is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, and it is signed by Chief Judge Foley. And I was saying that this is a win for me, but they said it's not a win for me. So you explain that to me.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Who told you it wasn't a win? The IRS?
No, this guy that's on this phone right now.
Okay, me? I didn't tell you that.
I was saying that to her. This is Bob from Boston.
Okay.
She thinks that she won because she got an order for lack of jurisdiction. A motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. And the only reason why it's a lack of jurisdiction because the court doesn't have the jurisdiction. That's why they're dismissing it. It's not the IRS never admitted that they don't have jurisdiction.
Okay, here's my question. If the court does not have jurisdiction, how does it tell you to pay a filing fee?
Right.
So
that's the other part of it.
Okay, so what I would do, I would go back to the court and say, thank you for your action. But if you don't have jurisdiction, how can you tell me to pay the filing fee? I want a more definite statement.
Yeah, and I need a more understanding to the situation that's going on. Did you try to bring a case or a lawsuit and they denied your case because you didn't pay the filing fee?
Okay, what it says. It says
no, that's not what it says.
That's right.
Right.
Jurisdiction.
That's what I keep saying.
See, if it doesn't have jurisdiction, you're right.
Right.
Normally they'll dismiss it because you didn't pay. They're saying they don't have jurisdiction. So if they don't have jurisdiction, go back to the tax court telling the tax court you don't have jurisdiction. So how can you tell me to pay the filing fee? I want a more definite statement. And let them don't tell you why they're doing it. If they don't have jurisdiction, they can't tell you anything. But I would go back to the court and ask for a more definite statement.
Okay. And hello, Anybody hear me out there?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because I can't hear myself because I'm online listening to it, and I can't hear myself. But I'm sorry to interrupt. I've been listening for about a half an hour, if not more. And I'm just trying to get the understanding of what's going on with the missus, to where you try to file a claim and they dismiss your claim because you didn't pay a filing fee.
I filed a claim saying that they didn't send me some paperwork for 4 years of taxes that they're trying to get money from me for. And I asked them, I petitioned the court to dismiss it, actually. That's what I was really doing. So I did not pay a filing fee, which we're never supposed to do that anyway. And when I didn't pay the filing fee, they sent me a letter prior to this and said, well, when you pay the filing fee, then if you don't pay the filing fee, we are going to dismiss your case. Based upon that, basically that's what they were trying to say, but they were trying to scare me into paying the $60, so I didn't do that. And then shortly after that, they also gave me a number at the bottom and told me to call this number if I agree with what the decision is or not. Or I could call it. So I called it after hours because that's what I wanted to do. Gave them my filing number and told them my name and told them I agree with what they did to make it go faster so they wouldn't hold it back. So they sent me an order of dismissal for lack of jurisdiction. But it made it sound like because I didn't.
Would you read your motion for us?
Sure, I will.
Okay.
And upon due consideration, a petitioner's letter filed May 24, 2018, it appearing that petitioners do not intend to pay the court's $60 filing fee for this case. It is ordered that this case is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. They tried to make it seem like because I didn't pay the $60, my case is dismissed, but that's not the case. The case is dismissed because of lack of jurisdiction. They try to play you like you don't know what it's saying.
Right.
To
now,
me.
If they say to you it's dismissed for lack of jurisdiction because you didn't pay the filing fee, we're going back to the court. If the court doesn't have jurisdiction, if you pay the $60, does the court have jurisdiction because of the $60 or because of the law?
Right. Because of the $60.
No.
I'm not.
Then that means that. So then, in other words, if the Supreme Court says you don't have to pay the $60, so they only get jurisdiction if you pay, there's a problem with that. So you
right.
Go back to the court. Okay. So anyways.
Either you have jurisdiction or you don't. Paying money is not going to make you have jurisdiction or not.
You either have it, or if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. That's a fact. Does anybody else have a question?
Well, I do. Once everything is settled and the IRS is saying that you don't owe any money, will you be entitled to back taxes you have paid?
Yes, but let's get the liens lifted first. And yes, I'm working on that now. I'm going to touch on that a little bit tonight, if that's okay. I'll touch.
Yes, it is.
The problem we're going to have is you have to, it's like anyways. I've just got a couple of ideas that we're trying now. We've got several of them out now as a test case. But does everybody understand how powerful jurisdiction is?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Ed, I have.
You can tell us though.
Go ahead. There's a question there. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. This is
go
pertaining to county courts and how to alleviate that problem of taxation in the county. This is in Texas.
Okay. Okay. Who's in front of a computer right now?
I am.
I am.
Would you? Okay. Would you?
I am too.
Okay, good. I want you to type into your computer Title 31, Section 3124. In other words, 313124. And then the gentleman that said something, would you do Title 18, Section 8?
Title 18, Section 8?
Yes, please. Now, who's got 3124 called up right now?
I do.
I got 3124.
I got it.
Okay. Would you read it for us?
Okay, is that the one for exemption from taxation?
Stop right there. Would you like to know what's exempt from taxation?
Go ahead.
We're just going over this.
I know. So what's exempt from taxation? Go ahead and read it, ma'am.
Okay. Well, a box with a lot of stuff pops up. Okay, wait a minute.
Read what it says.
Okay, let me I got to go down the line to find it. The Title 31, is that the one that says the headline is Money and Finance? No, exemption from taxation. Here it is, PDF. Okay.
I have it right here if you want me to read it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it says 3124, exemption from taxation. A, stocks and obligations of the United States government are exempt from taxation by a state or political subdivision of a state. The exemption applies to each form of taxation that would require the obligation, the interest on the obligation, or both to be considered in computing a tax, except one.
Don't worry about that. That's something special. That's like if you're an alcohol dealer, it's franchise tax. You ask them to do something, so they're going to tax you for the privilege of doing it. So stocks and obligations of the federal government are exempt from taxation. So from by a state or a subdivision of a state. Now, would somebody read Title 18, Section 8 for me, please?
I got that one here. Can you hear me?
Read that. Yeah, I can. Go ahead and read that one.
The term obligation or other security of the United States includes all bonds, certificates of indebtedness, national bank currency, Federal Reserve notes, Federal Reserve bank notes.
Stop right there. Does anybody know what a Federal Reserve note is?
It's that money that we use.
Okay,
it's a funny money, right?
They're exempt from taxation.
Exactly.
Now,
Can I ask a question? Can I ask you guys a question?
You can.
When he read the part about the Federal Reserve note, were there parentheses around that?
No, there weren't parentheses.
Because in the definition of legal tender, they have parentheses around Federal Reserve note. You know, when you go into the, I think it's Title 31, Section 5103, it defines legal tender, and when you get to Federal Reserve notes, it's in parentheses.
Okay.
Why is that important?
It's not important. Here's my question to you.
All right.
Tell me what what is legal tender? Tell me what legal tender is.
Money.
Well, if I understand legal tender correctly, if you offer legal tender as payment of something and that person rejects that money, quote unquote money, they can't sue you, if I understand that correctly.
Now listen to what I'm saying. No,
I think legal tender means, redeemable in gold.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not what it says. Now here's the problem. Legal tender. You hear people say this all the time. Tender.
What is legal tender?
It's where you tender something for value. In other words, if you mow my grass and I give you 2 gallons of milk, the milk is now the tender.
Okay.
So it's not legal money; it's legal tender.
I didn't say money. Okay,
I know.
So legal tender could be anything that's used for payment.
It's like bartering when you barter.
So was that
bartering, right?
Was that Title 18 U.S.C. 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it says, do you want me to include the rest of the types of
Sure, go right ahead and do it.
Federal Reserve bank notes, coupons, United States notes, I'm not sure what that means, treasury notes, gold certificates, silver certificates, fractional notes, certificates of deposit, bills, checks, or drafts for money, drawn by or upon authorized officers of the United States. Well, I think that's one thing to look at right there, authorized.
Okay. It don't matter. Let me ask you a question. If you pay your property tax with a check, how about a cashier's check? How about a certified check? See, it's listed there as they can't tax it. It's not that you can't tax land, but you can tax property. It's not that you can't tax the property. There is no mechanism in place to use to be taxed, because Federal Reserve notes is not money. Can anybody tell me what money is then?
Gold.
Gold and silver.
Federal Reserve notes are currency.
No.
Not money.
No. Okay. What Congress says it is after the Federal Reserve Act, it says money is checkable liabilities of a bank. It's in modern money mechanics under the section that says what is money, and it tells you right there. So it's defined as checkable liabilities of a bank. So if you have a checkable liability, which would be a Federal Reserve note, that's not money. If you have gold and silver, that's not money. The only people that have money is the checkable liability of a bank. That's why you can't use them to pay your tax, because the only way to do that is to take your property tax to the bank and let them cut a check for it. That's the only way you can pay it.
Right.
So you can't pay anything with Federal Reserve notes. You can only discharge it. Now, before we start, now, does anybody else have any questions? Because if you don't, then I'll get started with a couple of things that we ran.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah.
Sure, go right ahead and ask it.
Who wants to go first?
It doesn't.
Well, I'll just ask real quick. Is there anything you can do after you've signed a plea deal on the jurisdiction, or is that just a done deal?
All right.
You can always correct a mistake.
Yes, you can. But let me ask you a question. All right. If you go to the court, how do you give the court jurisdiction?
Entering a plea.
You can't.
Walking into the bar?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Now, I want to show you what I'm saying. Okay, you want to get a divorce, so you go to the federal district court. You tell the judge you want a divorce, and the judge gives your wife your checking account, your bank account, your retirement, your 2 cars, 2 dogs, the house, and you have to pay her $1,000 a month. What did she just get? Somebody has some noise in the background. Would you please hit star 6 for us?
Please.
I don't know if that's me. I could try to mute it. I'll mute it temporarily. Let's see if I can do it.
What would your wife have if the federal district judge gave her everything?
Nothing, because they have no jurisdiction.
Okay, then how would you give that court jurisdiction?
You had to sign it away?
You grant it.
You can't, because federal district courts does not have any jurisdiction over a divorce. No matter what you do, there's nothing you can do to give it to them. So it don't matter what you do; they'll never get it. It's the same thing. Okay. So how do you give a state district court jurisdiction?
You can't.
I guess you can't give them that either, huh?
There you go. So the answer to your question is, even if you plea bargain and you gave them jurisdiction, you're giving them nothing, because if they don't have it, they don't have it. There's 2 kinds of jurisdiction. There's in rem and in personam. Which one is the most important for the court to have to prosecute you?
In personam.
They have to have both.
No, sir.
They would have to have both.
There you go. So the Bill of Rights says you have unalienable rights. Does the IRS lien you?
Yes. No, they don't.
That's right. They use a notice, and the reason they use a notice is because you have unalienable rights. So
right.
where we're doing, in my opinion, and what we're doing that's incorrect is we're going after. Okay, I'm going to ask one more time. Please hit *6. There's a lot of noise in the background. Okay. There's something hammering in the background. Whoever hears that, if you just start, you can come back on anytime and ask a question. It's just very, it's real noisy. Much better. Okay, there. All right. Where the problem comes in, we want to go in there and say to them, I'm here by special appearance. Or you want to go in and say, Okay, Ed, do you hear that noise?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Oh, you find it. Mute them out, and then they can come back on.
I'm going to mute.
You mute everybody, and I'll come back on.
I'm going to mute everyone, and whoever wants to ask a question will hit *6 to unmute.
Okay. Yeah. Hello?
Hey, Carrie, unmute
All right.
yourself.
I unmuted. All right, now if you have a question, just hit *6 and then have the courtesy to go *6 again. Now, let me try to explain to you what I'm finding out about the court. All right, if the court does not have jurisdiction, you cannot give it to them, period. And the reason you can't give it to them is they have to have both. In rem, which is subject matter, and in personam, which is personal. And all courts are a court of limited jurisdiction. So if the court is a limited jurisdiction, how did they get jurisdiction over you as the person? Because the Bill of Rights protects you from them. It says you have unalienable rights. So the first thing the IRS does is liens you. You see, the reason they lien you because they can't, but they do it because the counties and states don't know any better. So, if you have another question, hit *6 and ask it, and then hit *6 and mute back out. And then once we get the questions answered, I'll go into some things that we're doing right now. We got several.
Yeah, I have a question.
All right.
Sorry, can we finish that one real quick? Sorry, you said, say I'm here by special appearance?
All right. You know what difference does it make? It's not about you. You go to court and say, I'm here by special appearance. What are you telling them? Okay. I'm a non-resident alien. It doesn't matter. It's not about you. Show me in the law where it says, if you say you're not here, if you're here by special appearance, we'll let you go. It doesn't have that. What you do is you go in there, well, I'm not the all caps name. Again, that doesn't matter. Whether you're the all caps name or not. Whether you're the straw man or not. Okay. Ed, remute everybody again, will you?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Where the problem comes in, we go in there and we say, well, I'm the all caps name, or I'm not the all caps name. I want you to think about this. If you win a case and the IRS sends you $1 million check and it's made out to you in all caps name, are you gonna flush it down the toilet, or are you gonna deposit it? See, it doesn't matter. It's not about you. The law is very clear. We've been arguing all these arguments for years with an argument you can't win. So now we're on offense. What that offense does is it puts you in a position that they don't understand and they don't recognize, because they're so used to being on offense. You can't have two offensive teams on the court at the same time. One's on offense and one's on defense. They've always picked the offensive position. We need to take the offense. The offense is you don't have jurisdiction. They always say, yes, I do. Show me. We don't have to. Then all you have to say is, I object. Once you object, you can then appeal that case on the grounds they didn't prove jurisdiction. When it's overturned, everything is overturned. So, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So what we're doing is, if they send you a letter in the mail, you return. If you've gone to the tax court and got your order from the court that says they don't have jurisdiction, start right there and send it back. They're going to say, well, we do have jurisdiction. Well, the funny part of it is the court says you don't, and you say you do. Let's go in front of a judge and see who's right. See, if you go to a summons, you take your paperwork with you. They're going to say, well, it doesn't say what you think it says. Then ask them what it says, because they won't tell you. Why won't they tell you? Because it says what you think it says. Where our arguments are going awry is we want to inject ourselves into it. See, it's not about you. There's nothing about you, because the law never uses your name. We're arguing, well, I'm a straw. Are you addressing the straw man, or are you addressing the all caps man? The corporation name? Are you what United States? None of that matters, because the law is real clear. The Fifth Amendment says my Fifth says I'm going to. I just drew a blank. Ed, what is it? Fifth Amendment. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank.
I'd have to look it up. I'm in the Republic of Texas.
Okay. Well, that's where you plead innocent. You tell them that you're not going to answer the question, so you don't have to incriminate yourself. So the Fifth Amendment, it doesn't say the straw man. It just says you plead the Fifth. That way you don't have to answer the question, and you're not entitled to. You don't have to tell on yourself and incriminate yourself. But we want to go in there and argue all these other arguments. I've been doing this since I stopped filing tax returns in 1988. I was indicted. And the reason they didn't indict me was because when I challenged jurisdiction, they never could prove it. So I appealed it. As soon as I appealed it, they overturned it. As soon as they overturned it, everything from that day back was overturned. So then I realized that's the answer. See? So,
not to be redundant, I'm going back to the $60 again, and
yeah.
I've got all my certified forms. I've got copies and everything. What court do I submit that to? U.S. Tax Court or
okay,
send it to the?
Here's the question you asked. I'm going back to the $60. Where do I supply all my? See, you're not asking. I don't understand the question.
Okay.
What do you ask?
Well, that's what it was dismissed on that basis, and I'm saying that what court? I just don't want to know where to go, and I'm not going to belabor that. But where do I go? Which U.S. Tax Court? They tell me I don't have standing.
Stop, guy. You're not. You're asking a question that's so open-ended. You said I don't want to be redundant. I'm going to go back to the $60. Where do I go? With what?
Well, I guess dismissed for lack of jurisdiction based upon I didn't pay $60.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're going to do? I already told you. You're going to go.
But I just want to know where I submit this to, because I've got the paperwork. Where do I go?
Okay. I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have. Okay. You're going to have to go back to the tax court, because if you use what you have, they're going to say, well, you didn't pay the $60. So you're going to do an amended petition. On the amended petition, all you do is go to the tax court's website, download Form 2 at the bottom. You're going to have to handwrite amended on it, you're going to tell them on the petition, I never received a notice of deficiency. I never received a notice of determination. See that? You're going to go back to your original question. You're going to say, you're telling me I have to pay $60, so I want a more definite statement. What? Because if they're saying to you they don't have jurisdiction because you didn't pay $60, that means if I pay $60, I win? That's not what that means. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to pervert it now because we're kicking their butt. So go back to the tax court, ask the tax court, what does paying the $60 and having jurisdiction, because you need a more definite statement. The question is, if the court does not have jurisdiction, and that's what they said, they don't have jurisdiction because you didn't pay the $60. So if they don't have jurisdiction, how can they tell you to pay the $60?
Harry, tell him to be sure and put the docket number on there.
Yes. When you go there, put your docket number on there and say, I'm calling about docket number so-and-so. You don't have jurisdiction. If you don't have jurisdiction, how can you tell me to pay the $60? I need a more definite statement. And let it go. Less words is better, okay? You don't need to get into a 25-page question. So if they don't have jurisdiction, how can they tell you to pay the $60?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
They have to have jurisdiction just to ask you for the $60.
Thank you very much.
Does that make sense for you?
I hear you, and I'm going to do that. Thank you so very much.
You betcha. Thank you for letting me help you. I appreciate you letting me help you. Thank you.
I have a question.
All right.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. So my thing with the tax court is that my order stated that my case was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction for no notice of determination or deficiencies for certain years. But there was a period of 2 years that the IRS commissioner is claiming that they did send a notice of deficiency. And the tax court put in the order for that the case is dismissed because of non-timely filing. So it appears that they're trying to give legitimacy to a counterfeit security. So what is my recourse there?
Okay, here's what they're saying to you. You did not go back to the court on a timely fashion. You didn't take your notice of deficiency and use it to go to the court. The question is, I need a more definite statement. I never received a notice of determination. See docket number so-and-so. When does my time start? So if you did not get a notice of deficiency and a notice of determination, you only have 90 days to go back to the court. When does your time start?
It starts when you get a valid notice of deficiency.
Okay, that's not, see? Now you're putting in words. It says on your document you did not receive a notice of deficiency.
Right. So, and the commissioner put into the case, they sent what they claim was a notice of deficiency, that they have a certified mail number, that they claim this notice of deficiency was sent on such and such a date.
Okay, now that's fine. What you need to do is go in and address just that. Say, on or about such and such a date, you say you gave me a notice of deficiency. Now you can say, I never received it. So who did you send it to? I want a more definite statement. Send it to the court. See, we need to make the court do what it's commissioned to do. See, what the IRS will say is, that's a frivolous argument. What's frivolous? Well, the argument. What's frivolous about the argument? The argument. See, then we say, doggone it, we lost. You want a more definite statement. What they're saying to you is, there's a couple of years that they gave it to you. If they did and they got a green card, then let me see the notice of deficiency. You're correct. It will be invalid. But when you start saying, well, show me it has to be valid, you're telling them your defense. Why would you do that?
Okay, but here's the thing, because we've talked before.
I know.
And you had told me to file a new petition for just those years. So yeah. I did that. And what I got today was an order from the court dismissing the case. They dismissed the case. They denied the respondent's motion to dismiss, and they dismissed the case because they said it was a duplication of the other case. And they
go back to the court and say, okay, go back to the court, and I know you've gotten one of these. You're going to say, I never received a notice of deficiency for the years they said they gave it to you. I never received a notice of determination for the years they said they gave it to you. I need a more definite statement, see, because I never received. What the IRS told us was, it's not important that you receive it. It's only important that we sent it. So I said, I love that. I called them on the behalf of the person that I'm helping, and I said, well, where's my change? You said he owes $400,000. We sent you a check for $700,000. Out of your mouth, you said it's not important that you received it. It's only important that my client sent it. We're waiting on the $300,000 change. See? Use what he said. Read it. Send it back. You want a more definite statement. You're not an attorney. Then if they tell you, well, get an attorney, say, well, you are an attorney. See? In other words, if you didn't receive a notice of deficiency and they say you did, then I need a more definite statement. Now I need to know what one is. So maybe I got one. Maybe I did get one. What is one? See? Once they send it to you, now you can prove them wrong. It won't be valid. You're correct. But you don't want to tell them it's not valid, so you're making a legal determination. And by doing that, you hurt yourself, I think. Does that help at all?
Well, it sort of helps, but I feel like it's contrary to maybe what you said before, because...
No, it's not. Okay, I said before to start over. Now you've got...
Right.
Okay, how many years did you go back? From what year to what year?
I went back from 2000 to 2017.
Okay, from 2000 to 2017, how many years did they say they sent you a notice of deficiency?
2.
Those 2 years you went back and said you didn't get it, correct?
Correct.
Go back for those 2 years and say, I need a more definite statement because I still didn't receive it. Now when the court comes back and says, well, we're not going to tell you, then we can appeal those 2 years and we'll go to a higher court. And that now what will happen is they'll have to define it. If they don't, the appellate court will then say, well, show it to them. They won't show it to you, then they'll overturn them. What we're trying to do is I'm trying to focus on the 2 years that they said they gave it to you.
So
go ahead.
Now, just so I'm clear then, am I asking for a more definite statement on this order, or am I starting a whole other petition?
No, on that order. The order said
on this order, okay.
They said they gave you 2 years of notice of deficiencies. You're going to say, I didn't receive them. I need a more definite statement. What is a notice of deficiency? What is a notice of determination? What is it for? So I will know whether I got it, because I'm telling you I didn't get it. I need a more. See, they send stuff to us all the time that says give them a more definite statement. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to tell you. See, I can't tell them to do anything. All I can do is go to the court and tell the court to make the determination. Once you go back in, they might come back and say, it's a frivolous argument. That's wonderful. Now we can go back and say, I need another more definite statement. What the heck's frivolous? I say I didn't get it. They said they did. Who's frivolous, me or them? I need a more definite statement. We're going to push them to the corner. When they get in the corner, they're finally going to say, okay, that's it. Now you can take all what they said and go to the appellate court and ask the appellate court. I'm trying to pay my taxes. They said they gave me a notice of deficiency. I never received one. Let the appellate court do it. We're trying to let the court do the work that we used to do. See, we used to run around telling them that I'm a sentient, moral, breathing, living thing. I'm here by special appearance. See, I stand on one leg when I go to court. What we're trying to do is make them tell us what it is. Because if the law is the law, then they can tell you what it is. The problem is they're saying you have a lien, and it's a notice of lien. A notice of lien has no value, but they've already monetized it. So, see, we're trying to get them in a position where once they make their determination, you got something. And they can't prove it. When you appeal it, silence. The doctrine of silence is they're doing bad dealing. See? So we're going to try it. So what we're trying to do is, this is not all I did as I started doing this. When I get stuff, I just try to make adjustments. I try to think, what are they trying to say? Where can I be the most irritant to them? In other words, what's the next question that I can ask that will put them deeper into the corner so that they eventually throw up their hands and leave me alone? And that's all you're trying to do. You can't make them do anything. So you're going to ask them. According to the court, you said I got a 2 years, or say the IRS said I did. Would you please give me a more definite statement? Make them show it to me because I never received it. See? Then when they give it to you, they say, here it is. Well, that's not valid. See, because now they're showing you what they have.
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. Here's the front page of the channel. The bottom arrow is pointing at the subscribe button that's normally red until you click on it, and this one turns white after you subscribe. And the right one is the arrow. The top arrow is pointing to the bell. Now, the bell doesn't show up until after you click the subscribe button, and then the bell will show up. And that way you can be notified of new uploads.
They already did that. They already showed me what they have.
Then go back to the court and tell the court, I need a more definite statement. If they gave you a notice of deficiency and they're saying that's what it is, then you're done. Stick a fork in you, pack your stuff, and leave. See, I'm trying to give you alternatives to doing that. See, everybody said, well, they gave me one. They did not.
No, I didn't say they gave me one. I'm saying they said they gave me one. And I'm saying what they said they gave me is not, but you're right. I can say to them, okay, maybe I'm wrong because I don't think it looks like a notice of deficiency, but apparently I don't know what a notice of deficiency looks like.
There you go. See, tell the court. They said they gave me one. It's not signed proper, so they gave me an invalid notice of determination. Could you give me a more definite statement? What you're wanting to do is you want the court to determine it, because the IRS is going to say that they gave you one, but yet a notice of deficiency is a particular thing. See, and just because they wrote notice of deficiency on the top of a piece of paper and they don't sign it or don't sign it properly, okay, I'm going to give you a $10,000 check. I'm not going to sign the check. What did I send you?
Right, you sent me a worthless piece of paper.
No, I did not. I sent you a check. It says check right on it.
Well, that's fine, but it's not good for the purpose.
Wait a minute. You didn't say for a purpose. See, I can argue this all day. That's what we have to see. What I'm trying to tell you is I gave you a valid check. I just didn't sign it. You can't cash it. But it's a valid check because it came out of my checking account. That's what that's how you have to think towards this. How do you fix that? You're going to go back to the court and you're going to say, they said they gave me a notice of deficiency. A notice of deficiency is a particular thing. I didn't receive that. Would you ask them to give you a more definite statement? See? Then they're going to come back and say, well, that's a frivolous argument. I believe it's a frivolous argument. The only way it's a frivolous argument is because they didn't give me what they said they did. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to hammer them constantly. We're going back to them. See, we're just trying to give them something that the court will finally realize what they're not doing, and and hopefully they will rule in your favor. I don't know if they will, but go back on those years and tell the court. The IRS stated, here's my proof, here's see Exhibit A, here's what they said. That is not a valid notice of deficiency. So I don't know what they sent me, because that's not valid. Have them send it to you, you validate it, and then you send it to me. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
All right, we can talk more later. Maybe I can call you again.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What would change, as far as your approach is concerned, what would change if the code said that the IRS could only lien property in the District of Columbia? What would change if you found that law?
First of all, that's what I would use that and tell them they can't lien. The thing is, property. Do you know what property is?
Well, let me say that real property. Let me correct that and say, because this is what it says in the code. The code says, in the case of real property, in one office within the District of Columbia, that's what it's talking about. When it talks about liening, it says that the notice of lien is supposed to be filed in the District of Columbia, and that's the only place it can be filed. It can't be filed in any of the several states. Did you know that was there?
Yeah, I knew it was there, but we've tried that, and they always say that's a frivolous argument. See? So the reason we're doing it the way we're doing it is because we're able to get around everything. If everything else fails, then come back with that and go to the tax court with it. Dear tax court, here's my lien. Here's what it says. I need you to make a determination. The code says they can only file there. They filed it.
Okay, here's what it says. Well, here, just Google this. Google 26 USC 6323. It's in section 6323, and it's right there in black and white. It says that the place for filing the notice referred to in subsection A shall be filed under state law. Well, what is the term state in the district in the code? The term state only means the District of Columbia. Correct?
I'm not an attorney. See, so now go to the court. Go to the tax court.
Kerry, this is Ed.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Kerry.
Yes.
The IRS is not lien property.
That's right.
It's not lien property.
Where can you find that?
They send you a notice of lien. They don't lien the property.
That's right. See, what I'm trying to tell you, Guy, is do this. Do it. Go in and tell them that according to the IRS's own code, they can't, under 6323, it states they can only file liens in the District of Columbia. I need you to interpret that for me, and let them interpret it. Once they interpret it, you'll see their interpretations aren't like yours and mine.
Oh, brother, good grief.
See, I understand what you're saying. But see, we've argued that argument for 25, 30 years, and we've never won. Now we're arguing it this way through the jurisdiction, through the tax court, and the tax court don't know what to do because they don't have jurisdiction. Now the IRS is saying, well, we told you we didn't have jurisdiction, but we didn't mean it. Well, then what did you mean? See? Friday, I got a call from a guy. He had 4 liens released out of the county. And see, what we're doing is we're taking the court order that we have, and we're taking the order that the IRS attorney wrote, their motion, putting them together, and we're using that as our evidence. Now, does that make sense to you?
Is that what got his notice of lien released?
He got a 668W, a letter, a 668W.
But that's the approach he used, what you just described?
Say that one more time. Yes. You write a cover letter. What you're doing is we're taking the motion that the IRS attorneys gave. They signed it with the name. We're putting a cover letter together saying, the attorney so-and-so, the attorney with their name, the chief counsel for the Internal Revenue Service stated that they did not give me, the petitioner, a notice of deficiency, which is required by 6313A. They admitted it. See document enclosed for your convenience, and then put together a cover letter telling them what you want. Then we're taking it to the county. The county won't take it, so we're taking it to records. We're filing it in the records. That's where you would file marriage licenses and titles and things like that. Just go to the county records, file it in the records. Then we're sending it out to everybody. We're sending it to Ogden, Utah. We're sending it to, we have to get outside of what we've been doing. So what we're trying to do is do it different ways. So let me tell you what I suspect is going to happen. Well, I'm afraid to say it because it's going to really screw it up. Anybody that wants to know, I'll talk to Ed tonight and we'll send it to you individually. That way, if I put it over now, it's going to really create a firestorm. So what we'll do is there's a way you can send it to them and ask for your money back so that they didn't have jurisdiction. You already got the court order. See, you've already got the court order. So if you have the court order and you send it to the proper place, what are they going to say? You didn't get it? See, and if you need your court order expanded on, go back to the tax court. They're the ones that gave it to you, and write it. Put it, you versus the IRS, like they had it. Do your motion. In the motion, say a motion for a clarification. On or about such and such a day, the commissioner has admitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The attorney for the IRS has admitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? They're saying now that you're full of crap. You don't know what you're doing. Would you please give me a clarification? If they didn't give me my notice of deficiency, they didn't give me my notice of determination, they don't have jurisdiction, then why do I still have my lien? Okay? I mean, go back and get a clarification. The court will probably give it to you. Now you got one more letter to send them out. Does that make sense? So how do we
request from Ed what you were referencing?
Say that again?
How do we request from Ed what you just referenced that you said you wouldn't announce, but we could request from him?
Well, I'll get it with him, and he'll send it to you individually. I want you to think about this. I'll give you part of it. I want you to think about this. Has anybody on this telephone call ever done a 1040, had an overpayment, and got a refund from the IRS? Anybody ever had that happen to them? Anybody? See? Then I'm going to take it by everybody's silence that no one's ever got a refund check from the IRS. If that's the case, take your documentation and take it to where it needs to go. But if you never received a check, you may not know where to take it.
Can I chime in for 1 second?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to mention something that might be of interest to people on here. I've been working in the tech industry for a while. I'm trying to do stuff in the cannabis sector, which has challenges of its own, legal challenges. One thing I found is that when you're dealing with these cases, sometimes the media is complicit, meaning when you're dealing with the courts, well, let's say they, get some case against you or some charge against you. Well, what do you know? Next thing, there's a report in the media. Okay, who knows if the reporter just went on their own and picked it up or whether, there was some backroom maneuvering. So right. I think some people in some cases are fighting not only the court but the media because then they smear your reputation. So while you're fighting the court battles, you're facing, major reputation management problems. It's further draining your income. And, then your only recourse is, go get a bar member to help you out. Oh, great. Oh, only $500 per hour for these lions of the bar. Yeah, they're lions. Okay. Whatever. Well, what I found, and I know you don't like to go into the commercial laws world, but what you said about going on the offense, Amedia did a smear piece on me. Well, I happen to get exactmatch.com domain names for their staff. These carry the maximal search engine and brand value. So if you want to go on the offense, I can't vouch for it completely, but I study the laws. It's first to file. So, if you're dealing with someone in the real estate sector who's monkeying you around and they have an online reputation to manage and you get their exact match domain, you get some major leverage going to the table, because if you look at the precedents on it, you can just look no further than TedCruz.com. He announced his presidency before registering his domain. It was pointed right to Hillary, and it was like caught flat-footed for the digital age, because the precedent's on its wicked. It has some real teeth. So, if you want to go on the offense, you can contact me. I know a little bit about that. But, yeah, it's a huge leverage point.
If you will, then leave your name with Ed or text Ed, and then that way you won't get 600 calls every day. Ed will then get it, and then then he will tell you what the questions are, and if you want to take it, you can. That's great. I just wanted to share that because I've been dealing with this for 15 years. I've been dealing with a legal problem for 3 years. I scored a thermonuclear PR victory on these people trying to smear me. It's how many nuclear bombs is going off on his domain. If he wants to take it to the global court with ICANN, well, have fun with that. I don't think with $10 billion he can save his ass. So See, where the problem comes in is we're going to the okay. Let me ask this: the guy that was just talking to me earlier, would you come back on here and let me ask you a quick question?
Which guy are you talking about?
Okay, the person that just said who are you talking about? Would you let me ask you a question?
I'm here.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you a taxpayer?
No.
See, there's your problem. See, the problem you're having is the IRS can't talk to nobody but taxpayers. Why? It's not about you. Why aren't you a taxpayer? Tell me why you're not a taxpayer.
Because I don't live in the District of Columbia.
See, it doesn't matter. It ain't about you. See? No, that's all I'm trying to tell you.
You're right.
Now,
you're right.
Okay, so see, we're so focused. I'm not a taxpayer. Then they can't talk to you. They're just going to ignore you, but they're going to keep moving. So what I found out by going to them now, if you will, get with Ed and he'll send you my 2358C letter. It says right on the letter, "Dear taxpayer, we agree with you. You are not legally required to file a tax return." Would you like one of those?
I already have one. I got one back in 1989.
Okay. See, but nobody can get those anymore. Why? Because you're not a taxpayer. See, they can't talk to non-taxpayers. Just like, okay, that's all I'm saying. So instead of it hanging up on what we are, don't worry about it. It's not about you. When you go to the court, it's not how you stand or how you hold your feet. You challenge jurisdiction. If they say they have it, say, "I want to see it." They're going to say, "I'm not going to show it to you." No problem. I object. And then sit down and let them throw the book at you. Then on your way out, follow an appeal. Because once you appeal it, they cannot win the appeal because they didn't prove jurisdiction. If they don't have it, you can't give it to them. Even if
the question I have is, why would you want to file anything with the tax court? You know what I mean?
What we're trying to do is they're trying to get the IRS. We're trying to get a motion that the IRS does not have jurisdiction, because with that motion, they don't have jurisdiction. I can take you to the proper court and ask for every penny they've ever taken from you. Because if they didn't have jurisdiction, they couldn't take the money. If they don't have jurisdiction, you can now get a judgment against the IRS because they're telling you to do something they don't have jurisdiction in. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it. Because I'm in another court now, and I got a judgment against the IRS saying that if they don't have jurisdiction, then they owe me the money. See? That's why I'm asking. Has anybody ever filed a tax return and had an overage, and the IRS sent them a refund check? If that's happened to anybody, then I can tell you how to get your money back.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me. Now, are you aware that Title 26 has not been passed into positive law and as a result can't be used in court?
Okay, doesn't matter. Title 26 never takes you to court. You always go to court under Title 27 because Title 26 is an administrative agency, so they can't do anything anyway. But the CID will take you there because they have positive law. The problem is, jurisdictionally, they get it from Title 27, so it has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
See, it has nothing. It's never about you. If Title 26 is an administrative law, they cannot take you to court, and they never do. The CID comes after you under the fact that they're part of the IRS. So what? But they're under Title 27, which is Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Ask them for their pocket commission. I want to see your pocket commission. An IRS agent that has a pocket commission, it'll give you their number. They'll show you their picture. The last letter or the last digit on their pocket commission will be an A or an E. That's administrative or enforcement. Only enforcement can enforce anything. The problem is enforcement is Title 27. So that's how there's a jurisdictional question. I want to see your pocket commission. They show it to you. That's an E. That's Title 27. No, it isn't. No problem. Now you lied. I write it down. See? I'm going to appeal on the fact that Title 27 is after me. And I don't do alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. See, that's how I'm handling it.
Yeah.
So far, I've been very successful. I have 4 people that are in court right now, fighting for their life. One of them signed that they wanted 5 years. They were guilty of all charges. He'll take 5 years. It's been 6 or 7 months, and they're still trying to get him back to court. The problem they're having is they didn't have jurisdiction. We proved they didn't have jurisdiction. Now they can't get him back into the courthouse. The problem they're having is, see, they monetized it. Now it's not a matter of whether you're guilty or innocent. It's whether or not, once they monetize it, they have to get you in jail to get paid. That's the system we have.
Right,
Okay, so that's why I do what I do. That's the reason I'm trying to give you tools that you understand that. If you understand what they're doing to you, then it is. Let me ask you a question, the man that I'm talking to. Do you by any chance know what a bass boat is?
What is?
A BASS, bass boat.
No.
Okay, a bass boat is a flat bottom with a big outboard motor with a seat in the middle, and you go out and you catch bass.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now if I take my bass boat out and I don't catch any bass and I catch trout, what am I in now?
Oh, you're still in a bass boat.
That's exactly right. That's what we have to stay focused on. Most people say, oh, you're in a trout boat. No, I'm not. See, I'm always in a bass boat. They're going to say, well, under 7421, whatever, that's under Title 27. See, if we understand the jurisdictional argument, we won't just we'll neuter them because it's not about you. I keep saying that, and people still want to argue that. It's not about you. What it's about if they don't have jurisdiction, and they don't because they're under Title 27, then it don't matter what you are, whether you're the upper lowercase, all uppercase, or lowercase, whether you're the corporation, they're the corporation, none of that matters because the law they're quoting you doesn't pertain to you because the jurisdiction isn't under you. It's under something else. As long as we can understand that, we can keep them. See, once they grab your house and sell it, it's very difficult to get it back. But see, we're able to stop them from taking it if we hit them early enough with the right argument. Argument that everybody still has is it the corporation? Is it the Washington, D.C.? None of that matters. Because if they're not following the law, then it doesn't matter. See?
The approach that you have developed, I think, is very effective. I've actually returned some letters and just asked the question, "Who is this for?" I didn't say anything. I just returned it back to them and said, "Who is this for?"
Right.
And we're really busy right now. We'll get back to you in 30 days, and then I never hear from them for a while.
Right. See, that's fine. But see, when they tried to indict me, and put me in prison for 55 years.
Wow.
They took 18 of us. My last name starts with the Z, so I was last. The first 17 went to prison within 45 minutes. They were done. It came to me. I was there 9.5 hours. At the end of the 9.5 hours, they were only on question number 4.
Yeah.
And the reason for it, the reason for it is words have multiple meanings.
That's right.
Okay, so you have to be careful, and that's what we're having here. Well, I'm a sentient moral man. So what? That has nothing to do with you. See, I'm here by special appearance. What difference does it make? Well, there's special appearance and there's general appearance. It don't matter. You're still there. Well, I don't want to plea, because if I plea, I give them jurisdiction. If you don't plea, you go to jail for contempt of court. See, it's all because all you have to do is go there, know what you believe, and just believe it, and stand on what you believe. And so what we're doing, we've become very effective, because when you walk in, if they pick you up, the first thing the judge says is, "Do you know why you're here?" "Yeah, I know why I'm here." He'll say, "Why?" See? Now, anybody that if you will, would somebody look up on the internet the 1040 booklet, the 1040 instruction booklet. I'm going to have you read just one sentence in there, and that one sentence will give you everything you ever wanted to know about the IRS. Would somebody do that?
While they're doing that, I want to ask you a quick question about whether or not you've heard of a term called functional currency.
No.
All determinations in Subtitle A shall be made in the taxpayer's functional currency. That's the U.S. dollar, by the way. It's the U.S. silver dollar.
Okay.
That's another question you can ask the judge. Was the determination made in functional currency, Your Honor?
Mm-hmm.
Because functional currency is not the same as non-functional currency.
Correct. See, those are things that those are areas that we need to be dealing with. Not I can't see and all of that. Okay, does anybody find a 10-fold instruction booklet?
Yes.
Okay, would you go to page 100, please? When you get to page 100, let me know, because I'm going to have you read something in there, and this is what got me off of one of the things I used that got me off of my indictment. All I did is, I'm one of these kind of guys that I just say what, how, who, I don't get it until I understand it. Okay, are you on page 100?
Not yet.
Okay, when you get there, it's going to have 3 columns, the left column, the middle column, and the right column. On the left column, you're going to see a number, 6011. When you see that, let me know you're there, and I'm going to have you just read it, one sentence.
I'm there.
Okay, now on the left column, do you see 6011?
Yes.
Okay, would you read that sentence for me?
It starts off, our legal right to ask.
There you go.
Okay, our legal right to ask for information is Internal Revenue Code Section 6001, 6011, and 6012, subsection A, and their regulations.
Okay,
they
keep
say
going.
That you must,
this is. That's where you broke up. Say that one more time. That's the sentence I want you to read.
The next one?
Yeah, they say.
Yep, they say that you must file a return or statement with us for any tax year you are liable for.
Stop right there. They say you must file a you must file a return or statement. See, when I went there, I told the judge, okay, here's my statement. Eat shit and die. The judge says, what? I said, well, I'm good for this year. He said, do what? I said, your wife, she's ugly too. Now I made my statement for next year. Now, isn't that what it says? See, I read the book.
It says or statement.
See? Yes, it says you must file. Is that in court? Is that filing it?
It doesn't say. It says you must file a return or statement. So
well, there's another word. What does the word or mean?
Okay, look it up. There you go. See?
Oh, well, I already know. The word or can be used in one of two ways. It can be used, in a black and white situation, either or, and it can also be used to clarify. So it depends on the context.
Okay, so it doesn't tell you. So it says file. So my next question is, what you see? I read the book, and I'm standing there, and the IRS agents, the CID agent says, "Well, that's not what we mean. You can't use our booklet to file taxes." I said, "Then why did you send it to me?" Then I said to him, I said, "If I agreed that I made $100,000, how do I know how much tax to pay?" He said, "Go to page 30." I said, "See, now I can't use it. So it's invalid." And
somebody used the word liable. I think you used the word liable a minute ago. How do you become liable?
My blog is, our blog is texasrepublic.wordpress.com. Our website is thetexasrepublic.com. Our email address is oneyellowroseenterprises@gmail.com. Our YouTube profile is, this is the link, because YouTube doesn't allow us to have a customized URL until we have over a certain number of subscribers. And follow us on Twitter at Texas Republic for You and at We Are Texians.
You become liable if you've collected a tax. And it's at that point that you are required to turn it over to the government. The only people liable to pay the tax are people that are in the position to collect the tax.
Okay, here's the problem. If you make money, and I don't because I can get the paper. I tried to make money, but I can't get the paper.
I hear some TV in the background or something.
If you would, mute it, please. What I'm trying to tell you is, instead of going in there and telling them, that's not about me, are you talking to me? See, it's not about you. That statement there says file a return or statement. That's about nobody. So, write on a piece of paper, IRS, eat shit and die, and put it in a folder and mail it in. You've done everything that the book's told you to do. That one sentence right there tells you everything.
Well, the statement that I would file is the IRS owes me $1 million. That would be my statement.
There you go, and then send it in.
Yeah.
See, what I'm telling you is, you see, the problem that we're having is we think we know what they're saying. I don't care what they're saying. That's what it says. Let them tell me, well, that's not what it says. Then tell me what it says.
Negotiable words, Black's Law Dictionary.
See? But what we're trying to do here, I'm trying to give you a different angle on this. I have a very unique way of seeing things. So what I'm trying to do, I'm not telling you I have all the answers. I don't know that because I don't. God knows I don't. but I've been able to give you enough tools that we are giving the IRS fits. Why? Because they're not used to seeing offensive signals. So now we're on offense. See? And when I say that, we're just out there doing what we do. It makes me angry. Somebody works for 40 years, they retire, and they go and take all of their money. Now they can't eat. What's going on with this? And they think that's okay? See, they're mad at me. See, I have a target on my back because I think outside the box and I'm a little different. But the problem that we're having is you read it from their own book. I didn't do that. Now, would you hold that? Can you keep that there so I can show you something? Would you look up a 1040 form, and would you bring that up for me? Would you mind doing that?
Sure, I've got that in just a moment.
Okay, and then I want to show you something else because we don't read it.
Now, while he's doing that, I want everybody to write down Title 26, Section 985. I want you guys to look that up and read that and study it. That's where it talks about functional currency. It'll open a whole new world to your thinking.
Title 26,
right. Title 26, Section 985. It talks about functional currency. And then if you get into the Code of Federal Regulations, that's the backside of that. It gets into more definite. It'll clarify more. It talks about functional currency. So anyway, that's just a sidebar.
Okay. Do you have the 1040?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
I've got it.
Okay. Would you read question number 13 or line number 13 on the 1040 form?
1040's line 13 says capital gain or loss. Attach Schedule D if required. If not required, check here.
Okay. Now, capital gain and loss. So if you made $10,000 and you lost $5,000, would your net income be $5,000, or would your gross income be $5,000, or would your total income be $5,000?
None of the above.
Depends on how you define income.
Okay.
On one side of the fence, you could say your gross income is $10,000.
Okay, that's correct. But now I'm going to show you the reason I'm asking you that. The net income is plus and minus is net. Now go to line 22 for me and read that, please.
Combine the amounts in the far right column for lines 7 through 21. This is your total income.
Okay, so they're saying 13 is plus and a minus. That's total. So my question to the judge was, is net income and total income the same thing? He said, so my question is, since the 1040 booklet tells you what goes on every line, let's see what the IRS defines total income as. The guy that has the 1040 instruction booklet, would you go to page 29? On page 29, you'll see line 22. Would you read it to us?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I'm the one that's done this for you before. I can't find line 22.
Wait a minute. It's not there then, is it?
That's correct. It goes from line 21, other income, into the worksheet.
It goes line 21, line 23. So they're saying line 13, you add that up, that's net income. Yet they're calling it total income, yet they don't define total income. So what's happening is we don't see. Again, I read this. I just read it, and I'm reading it. I'm thinking there's something wrong here. I went through that book, and I read it, and it just, I couldn't believe what I was reading. When they tried to indict me, I'm telling the judge, all you got to do is tell me so I'll sign anything you want me to sign. I'll sign. I don't care what it is. I'll even go to prison for you. But I can't go if I don't understand it. They ushered me out quick after we started down the path. Now here's the problem that we're having. Do you know what income is?
Yeah, it's corporate gain.
No, it's not.
Depends it depends on how you define it.
Nope, it's already
the IRS defines it.
That's right. They already define it. Go to Title 31, Section 321, D as in dog, 2. It's defined in black and white right there.
Okay. Say that again. What title?
31.
Okay.
Section 321.
Okay.
D as in dog, 2.
Okay, so I'm typing in 31 USC 321
and
D as in dog 2.
That's fine.
Yep.
All right.
Got it.
Now, would you read it out loud?
For purposes of the federal income, estate, and gift.
Wait a second. Stop right there. We don't just. We're going to analyze this. It said for the purposes of federal income. Isn't that what we're doing? We want to know.
I don't have it. Hang on. What section is it again? I have section 321.
Then go down. You got to scroll down till you get to the letter D.
D, the letter D, small d, number 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Now read it. It says for the purposes of federal income. Isn't that what we want to know? Now finish reading it for me.
For the purposes of the federal income, estate, and gift taxes, property accepted under paragraph 1 shall be considered as a gift or bequest to or for the use of the United States.
There it is. Federal income, for the purposes of federal income, it's a gift or a bequest. Yet I heard corporate profits and loss. Corporate profits have nothing to do with it, unless you mow my grass and I'll give you a cake. You mow my grass and I'll give you a pair of shoes. That's a gift. You'd have to pay taxes on that.
See, the problem is they said federal income. Federal income is talking about the income that the federal government. Well, how do you define federal? That might mean the District of Columbia.
No.
Check out our other videos and playlists. Republic of Texas RT documentary. Texas and other American states is under a military occupation. The Republic of Texas Forum of 2016. And describe the kind of people who would thrive in independent Texas. And so check them out.
Okay, so if that's the case, then if that's the case, if you have state income, you can't pay tax on it because you can't pay. See, where the problem comes in, we're trying to get. I don't guess anything. I read that to the judge after 9.5 hours. They went berserk. Well, just shut up. You can't read that. Don't do this. You can't do that. Okay. Then they ushered me out. Every one of the other people went to prison. Every one of them. When it came to me, 9.5 hours later, we were on question 4. He said, will you tell me why you won't file? I said, I file every year. You do? Well, how come we don't get it? There's nowhere in your booklet. It tells me I have to mail it.
Recording started. Muted.
Who is that?
That's
okay. So it doesn't tell you in the booklet to mail it. See? All I did is read their stuff. Then when they corner me, I just dispute it out. So if line 22 is total income and it's not defined in their book, I can't define it because I'm not an attorney. So
but see, total income is not the same as federal income.
Okay, but total income, federal income is gifts or bequest. See?
Well, but that's a.
I'm not arguing with you. We're on the same side. What I'm trying to do is give you an idea. If you get pinched and you're in a summons and they say to you, why won't you file? Well, because federal income's not. It don't matter. Federal income is defined. Total income is not. Neither is net income. So the question is, I would say to them, let's go to line 22. It's not here. Well, you don't have to have that. Okay, but under penalties of perjury, it says I know everything about it. But in order for me to know everything about it, you tell me what line 22. You tell me what total income is. I'll file my tax return before I leave.
Actually, you know what I'd say to them? If they ask me, why don't you file, I'd say, because isn't it voluntary?
Well,
and the IRS commissioners have all said that it is.
Yes, but they define voluntary differently to me. When I was in front of the grand jury and they were indicting me, what they said was, here's what voluntary means. You voluntarily fill out the tax return, and if you don't, we mandatorily come and put you in prison. That's what the IRS told me.
Yeah, yeah.
See, all I'm trying to give you is a different way to look at it.
Yes, and I appreciate that a lot.
Now, does anybody know what the word form, F-O-R-M, means?
Well, it has multiple meanings. I have a human form on right now.
No, sir, you don't. Look up the word form in Black's Law Dictionary, and when you read it, you'll see where they get us.
Which edition?
Okay, it basically says form is a model or a skeleton to be used in a court of law. It's got the methodical numbers, the methodical order to prosecute. See? So, because we don't know what it is, when you fill out a 1040 form, you're saying, they're telling you to put down your total income here. So we put something down there. If you go to the W-4, on the W-4 form, on the top it says number of dependents. So you put it down. On the bottom it says number of allowances from line H above. So at the top they're calling them dependents. At the bottom they're calling them allowances. So the question I asked when they were indicting me was, is a dependent and an allowance the same thing? They wouldn't answer.
That's a good question.
Now, okay, I think that's an honest question. The question is, I got an allowance when I was a kid. If I mowed the grass or I was good, my dad gave me allowance. The problem is, he kept giving me girls. I wanted a boy. You know what the IRS said? Well, that's ridiculous. I know. It's assholeish. It absolutely is. But see, it says on the form, it's a W-4. If you read it, it says total number of dependents. You put it here. On the bottom, it says total number of allowances from H above. H above is dependent. At the bottom, it's allowances. See, now I figured it out. If you mow the grass and your dad gives you a $10 bill, that's an allowance. Who gets it? You or the lawnmower. See? Well, why should you get it? The lawnmower did all the work. See, I'm standing in front of the grand jury, and they're saying, well, the IRS says, well, you can't think like that. Well, that's how I think. What I'm trying to tell you is, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Do whatever you want to do. What I'm trying to show you is we have some systems in place now. You have some tools that are working. The reason they're working because they don't recognize what we're doing. Now, does anybody on here? Is there any women on this thing tonight that have children? So I take it by your silence, nobody on here has any.
Yes.
Okay. So my question to you is having children worse than a man getting kicked in the groin? Which one would be worse, do you think?
Well, to me, it would be having children because I don't.
Okay, here's the problem. How many children do you have?
2.
Okay, I got kicked in the groin one time, and I never went back to that guy and said, would you do it again? Yet you went back and got it done again. It can't be. It can't be as bad. See?
Well, it all depends on what you're doing.
No,
it all depends on what you're doing.
No, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kicked once. I never want to get kicked again. Yet you had a baby once, and now you went back and had another one. Why would you do it twice? Why would you do it twice if it was really as bad as you say it is? See?
You really want to know? You really want to know?
No, I don't really. Not really.
Okay.
But with the point that I'm making, see,
it was the pain of having a child, but not what you went through to get pregnated, though. So, but in your case, you did something probably that you shouldn't have did. The reason you got kicked in the groin.
Right. But see, the point is, the only thing I said was which one hurts the most. What I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to give you a way to think of things that's outside the box.
I think outside the box, right.
Okay, and when you do, you're going to be surprised. All of this other stuff that we're trying to come up with, how do you plead? I can't plead. If I plead, I give the court jurisdiction. No, you don't, because you can't. If they don't have it, you can tell them anything. Please take it. I give you jurisdiction. I'll sign a document saying you have it. It don't matter. You can't give it to them if they don't have it.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'll tell you something. And just listening to you, having been on the phone on the conference, the different conference, and just listening to you talk, that's called something. When like you saying, thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
It's really not thinking outside the box.
Okay.
Listen, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's something that's called something. I mean, it really is. And the reason I say that is because a friend of mine has a child, and you could tell him something to do that is just so simple to me and you. But believe me when I tell you, he'll do it. It's doing what you said do. But like you said, he thinks outside the box.
Okay.
But and there is a condition for that.
That's right. But see, yours is so simple. I've made it so simple, people stumble on it. Why are they stumbling on it? Because it's so simple. If you want to make it difficult, we can wrap that up too.
Because a lot of times we make things. A lot of times we overthink. We overthink things.
Correct. Yes, and I underthink them. So what I try to do is, I told the judge, one more quick story. I told the judge, they were screaming and hollering at me. Remember I told you, I said, well, eat shit and die. And I said, I'm good for this year. I said, I'm good for this year. I said, oh, Judge, your wife, she's ugly too. I said, now I'm good for next year. He said something to me, and I looked at the judge and I said, well, let me explain something to you, Judge. I've never seen your wife naked, but I know what she looks like. Oh, my God, it went ugly quick. But see, you see, that's a true statement. And so what happens is the judge says, you're not as stupid as you pretend to be. I said, thank you. I'm stupider than that. See, it's not what I know.
But it's not stupid, though. It's really not stupid. It's just thinking outside the box.
See? And they don't know how to do it. Go ahead.
We're going to have to shut this one down.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for letting us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
You bet.
I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Just real quick. Does the can the jurisdictional argument be used against like credit card cases with liens and legal cases also?
Anything.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, our next call will be August 28th.
August 28th?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
At what time?
7:30.
Okay.
We'll try to get Carrie there at 7:30 next time.
I know it. I got. If I told you what happened, you wouldn't believe it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
You betcha. Bye.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say one more thing. If the key thing is public relations. They got political aspirations, and there's a tech world. If you need help with that, caninebarbecue.com. That's where I grill them. I can post anything on there if you need some public